SEO this week. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of SEO this week. This we're going to look at crawl or indexed. We're looking at Google Discover, top level domains going away for Google, and a whole lot more. So let's get into it. Okay, so first story, I guess it were, is Google's getting rid of their country level domains .uk, .canada, whatever, and they're going to switch straight and solely to google.com. To me, honestly, it kind of sounds like a really more of a business decision versus anything else. Like, why maintain all these TLDs if we have the systems in place that already handle localization really well? So I think it's a good opportunity for everyone across the board to be on a level playing field, assuming that the country-specific algorithms are going to go away as part of this. If that is the case, kind of feel sorry for all those people that were in easy search areas or easy locations to SEO versus trying to SEO in the .com space in the US. Now, if all of those individual country specific levels of the algorithm go away and they rely solely on one, it'll reduce processing costs for Google. But two, it'll make competition a lot harder in all those countries where you necessarily didn't have to compete with the global stage, and now you just might. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, how it affects our international customers, etc. But I'm actually, I get it. I see why they did it. Honestly, it just makes sense to me with the advancements that Google has in personalization and location detection and all, etc. Why not just throw it under google.com and let the algorithm figure it out and save a little bit of money? So we'll see how that all rolls out. Interesting to watch. Elizabeth Reid, she's the head of Google Search. She did a story on Financial Times. I didn't go to the exact one because as it's detailed or surmised inside of this particular article, that article is actually behind a paywall. And so rather than fight with it and get it reset and everything and then be locked out of it, we're just going to go over and look at the summary. You can see the summary here. You have the link, as always. I'll put the links to all the articles in the description. You can go there and try to see the actual interview fully on the Financial Times if you want. But one thing I wanted to point out is something that she surmised when asked about Google and the effects of AI overviews and the damaging effects, I would argue, to local publishers. And her thought process is actually very important, because if you get insight into the thought process behind the people that are guiding the development and the modification of the algorithm, you can get a better picture of at least of why things are happening and why changes are being made. Obviously, Google is a giant corporate animal, and there'll be 100 different little weenies trying to stake their claim into the search algorithm. But she is the head of search, and so that's what we get. Anyway, her idea, or the idea of thought process behind AI overviews and video carousels, product carousels, and et cetera, all showing up inside of the algorithm or the search results, isn't always necessarily to screw publishers. Ultimately, as at the end of the day, if publishers are depending solely on traffic and impressions for the revenue generation, then that's exactly what it does. However, if you are, say, a local business and you own a roofing company, your informational content, although supportive and helps with your branding, etc., in multiple platforms, it doesn't necessarily actually convert right away. What they're surmising is the changes that they're making to the search results is that it will result in you eventually getting a click or a searcher who has already gone through the informational phase and has moved on to transactional phase of the search process. So while yes, you will get reduced clicks, the clicks that you get will actually be more on point to what your services that you're offering or whatever your website sells, unless your website sells information. You're going to actually see an increase of conversion rate because the traffic's more on point. This generally isn't a bad thing unless, again, you are a publisher like Small Business Trends or Fox News. Well, maybe not Fox News, but you know, you bread and butter is based off of the amount of content you create and the amount of people that come and read your content. And there you go, you get impressions, and you can sell display ad placements, or you can use things like Ezoic or Mediavine or Google ad choices or whatever for publishing. If you're relying on those, you're gonna see a little bit of pain in regards to how this all shakes out with the search results presentations. But knowing that, you could potentially, as an information content marketer, provide more detailed analysis of or an answer to a question. So if the question is, where do you show AI overviews? We show them above and below AI overviews. But you want to get into the history of AI overviews, why AI overviews, what technology behind AI overviews, and expand that out a little bit more so your article reaches more potential keywords. And then you have a higher increase that you might catch users who are past the summary, and we'll just say this is the AI overview. They're past that learning point and they want to read the nuts and bolts. So while you're going after this question, where do you show AI overviews, right? In this case, that's not the answer, but let's just start an example. Where do you show AI overviews, or where do you show ads around AI overviews? You can expand upon that knowledge base in that article and make your article appropriate for more search terms versus the old school of thought of, I'm going to write an article about Microsoft launches the merchant program, and I'm only going to address that, and I'm not going to put any backstory behind it or anything like that. I'm just going to do that. That's fine for like Google News or whatever if you're into those traffic generations. But if you're just an informational site talking about just providing information, you got to go deeper. You got to answer your questions more succinctly, and you have to have resources, and you have to get people, citing your information in their articles in order to get more exposure into the LLMs potentially, and then ultimately get more brand awareness so that if and when you start getting cited in AI overviews, I won't say intentionally, but more often, your brand recognition carries over. So now the question person gets the summarized answer, and then they see your brand and they're like, oh, I want to get more information for that. That's assuming that Google fixes the link citations inside of AI overviews, and it's not just the self-linking, internal linking system between search results. But that's neither here nor there. This is a story that's going around pretty good now, since that was published it, and this is my only problem with it. It's a blanket statement that all AI overviews reduce clicks by 34.5%. That is how this article is being given to people, to your clients, etc. AI overviews are reducing clicks by 34 to 45%. Without providing any context in a subheading or whatever, it makes it look like they actually did research on 300,000 keywords across multiple websites to identify traffic reduction when AI overviews came. But that is entirely not what they did. They just looked at the data for ahrefs.com. So, let's assume ahrefs.com actually ranks for 300,000 keywords. Probably, I would argue that most of those keywords weren't generating them very much traffic anyway. They were just ranking for keywords in low positions and not actually getting traffic. So let's check out, I don't know, I'd say a good 90% of their keywords are probably not traffic generators in the first place. So that leaves a specific set of keywords that were potentially at one point giving them traffic, and then AI overviews came and answered the question directly that they were answering in their blog posts. That, I mean, it makes sense to me that that would hurt your traffic, but does that AI overviews reduce the clicks by 34% for everybody? I think the answer to that is no, considering that traffic inside of AI generated or AI traffic at this point is still like what, not even 6% versus 84% from search engines. So just be careful when you see these and be prepared to talk to your clients or the people. If you're an in-house SEO handling something for a business, for a company or whatever, your stakeholders, be ready to answer this question. There is a whole lot of nuance that is not in this article. I read this thing 3 times, like looking for the nuance, and it's not there. They're just looking at blanket numbers and they're saying, hey, look, this is informational CTR, average CTR before and after based off of what? Like analysis of 1,500 keywords. If most of your keywords weren't getting traffic anyway, and then your CTR is best guess, a guesstimation, which if you're using Search Console data, which I'm assuming they are because it's not going to match Ahrefs data at all unless you're interconnecting those. The Search Console data is actually pretty hunky, janky as well in regards to the legit CTR that you're getting from your positions. So there's a whole lot messed up in this article, but I will say we have seen HubSpot as an example, now Ahrefs as an example of people pointing out, yes, AI overviews came. Yes, they reduced our traffic, but let's add the whole backstory behind it. And HubSpot added the backstory. If you remember that, I think it was 1 or 2 weeks ago, we talked about HubSpot and their journey with AI overviews, where they lost traffic, but no money whatsoever. The income off their income generating properties or pages still remain steady. Even after the implementation of AI overviews. So you can't bitch about SEO is about making money, SEO is about generating leads and sales, but boo-hoo, we lost 34% of clicks from informational searches. Informational traffic, by the way, lowest converting traffic there is. Those are people just out researching. They are not buyers yet. So ergo, they look up informational things. And so you can't bitch about one and then praise the other, or completely leave the data connection between those two. So I say that if you're in publishing and you're doing low hanging fruit, people also ask type of content, you're fucked. But if you're doing really good articles and really good detailed case studies or et cetera, or just presenting unique views, you're going to be just fine. So continue doing that and leverage SEO to this day. And I'll show you why here in a little bit once we get to another story. Competitor analysis and local SEO, how to gain the edge. This is just something, if you're a small business owner, again, not only SEOs aren't the only ones that watch SEO this week, small business owners do too, and I appreciate you. So one of the things that a good SEO will do when they take on your campaign is actually look at competitors. What are the competitors doing in your space? How much are they spending for links? How much are they spending for content? And are they focusing on the Google Map rankings? Are they focusing on Google Organic? What is their networking inside of the local space look like? What other advertising are they doing? Are you competing with someone who's got this mega budget and has got billboards all over every inch of the city, plus the TV ads, plus they're doing the live streaming ads now? And are they running PPC? Are they running PPC on social media or just Google, et cetera? So that competition analysis is actually very important because one, it dictates how much you're going to get charged. Because if you got a baller in there inside of your community, or you're in a big city and you're a personal injury attorney and you're dealing with 5 ballers, and you're coming with a dodgeball budget to an NFL football game, you are going to get crushed. And so a good SEO company is going to let you know that, and they won't let you. A good SEO company won't let you underpay for what you actually have to do in regards to search engine optimization. Don't get me wrong. It's not an invitation for people to rape you and pillage you, et cetera, just because you have someone spending tons of money in there. You can do a really good, I did a personal injury campaign in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh for $2,000, $3,000 a month. Totally doable, and the client had to spend probably another $1,000 on their own with link building, just because they knew what they were doing in the link building space. Otherwise, I would have charged them $4,000 and took on the link building stuff too. But that's what this competition or competitor analysis is. And really, these are points that I look at too. On-page SEO, that's where I start. I use Screaming Frog, I use Sitebulb, and we look at the on-page technical SEO in regards to what is going on with your site. The reason we do this is we can find some low-hanging fruits that'll like fix almost a lot of stuff pretty quickly. Like I took on a client the other day. We did the technical analysis with Screaming Frog, and their homepage was not indexed properly. Their homepage was not indexed properly because the canonical URL was actually wrong, and we had to force set the canonical URL because their SEO plugin didn't agree with the way they built their website. So the trailing slash was forced across the entire site, including the homepage, but the SEO plugin was showing the non-trailing slash version inside of the canonicals for the homepage. It was doing it right for all the other pages, but for the homepage, it was wrong. We switched that, and we saw a spike in increase in traffic almost instantly. And that's all I did. That is it. So this technical SEO is part of that on-page SEO analysis that you need to don't miss it out. GBBs, what is your competition doing? I will tell you that I'm not a big guy on you need more reviews to rank. You need more reviews to convert, but I have not seen any actual evidence that you need more reviews to rank, aside from one case study provided at SEO Spring Training like 2 years ago. And then I implemented it, and I saw no improvement whatsoever because of just solely of having on-point reviews. You want to check that out, go to digitalleader.com. or Digital Ear Phoenix. Google Digital Ear Phoenix and check out the reviews. Those are on point. Those are all written by SEOs that have helped or at speaking at conferences or whatever, and asked for reviews of me and the information that I provided. And a lot of those are written by SEOs who knew what I was doing and actually intentionally added my keywords in there, talk nice about me, good sentiment, and none of those reviews actually do anything. So I'm not saying that you want to ignore reviews. Just don't put that. I just don't put that much. I don't put that much stake in the effectiveness of, do reviews and you're going to rank. It's not entirely true. As a matter of fact, I would argue it's not true at all. But you want to have good reviews to get or sentiment, get good reviews to establish sentiment, good or bad, about your business, and that sentiment could be analyzed by Google and the keywords that are used inside of your reviews, or just something that Brock Misner pointed out. And when you can see that when you're reviewing the reviews, like on time, punctual, courteous, effective, and those are highlighted inside of the reviews, and sentiment could play a part in it. It's impossible to test and measure. But you want to pay attention to that stuff and get positive sentiment by getting positive reviews, and counter your negative sentiment, the negative reviews that you'll inevitably going to get, with positive sentiment replies to them, and then they think you're going to be okay. But you also should look at that and how your competition is doing it. If you're a roofer and your roofing competition is getting reviews from everybody, you damn well better be getting reviews from everyone you work with too. Local citation analysis. These are really their backlinks. Essentially, they're weak backlinks. I use SEMrush, their local service, or you can use Bright Local, White Spark. You can use Yext. A lot of those citations that all of those companies provide don't necessarily index, but NAP, name, address, and phone number, consistently across the board actually improves your brand authority inside of Google. So you want to do as much as you can and make sure that's cleaned up. Will it help you necessarily rank more often than not? No, not all that much. Apart from having, but it will legitimize, and it could potentially, depending on if you're allowed to, you can link to your maps and help your map rankings a little bit. Just kind of connect everything together to show that, hey, we're a real business. So you want to make sure that your citation analysis is done, and they're all generally correct. Some will be wrong if you have tracking phone numbers on your Google Maps, for instance. A lot of the citation companies won't let you use those, or as an example, or you put it into a directory where, like one of those mega listings. You can get those through Moz Local, the three major local directories feeding databases, really. And you don't want to put your tracking number in there because your tracking number has changed. And so you give it your normal number, and now you have two phone numbers out there playing in the wind. So you got to be a little bit careful with NAP stuff. But at the end of the day, do it because it legitimizes you. Local link building is actually probably one of the most important factors, and I think that you should be addressing inside of your competition research. If you're a roofer and you are inside of let's say a medium-sized town, not like Phoenix, but I mean Phoenix could work too. Let's say what you want to do is, other service providers, other trades, and you know these people, you should, and you could potentially get leads from them. So why not actually be proactive and get backlinks from them? So your roofers should be linking to the concrete guy, the landscaper, the electrician, the plumber, and the handyman, and those people should all be linking to the roofer, and get yourself a nice little network like that. Or if you're like a roofer in city X and you don't do any roofing in city Y, and there's a roofer in city Y that doesn't do any roofing in city X, but you're essentially neighbors linked to each other, and you can do that with outlying towns, etc. And just think of it as a nice little interconnected bubble. A roofing company doesn't have to. You don't get links just from other roofing companies. You get links from roofers and contractors and general contractors, and you can get links from interior designers. You can get links for exterior designers. You can get links from architects, and all those people, you can link back to all of them too. So think about that and build relationships. Probably the best place that, get started with that is get into like a chamber of commerce thing or whatever, and then get those naturally through just talking to people and exchanging business cards, and then reaching out to them later. Or you can do what like the Semantic Mastery folks do, is they find websites that are dead and the domains dropped, and they were legit local businesses in the areas, and they create their own backlinks. So there's a couple ways to skin that cat, but local link analysis is indeed the most important. Reviews, reputations, I'm not doing, and a local content strategy. That's kind of, really at the end of the day, for a local business, I mean, there's only so many articles you can write about flushing a toilet properly, and should you use the blue discs in your toilet, and how do you stop a drain leaking, etc. You just want you don't need a whole lot of content, and that's why local business campaigns are generally especially for trades, a lot cheaper. Now, if you're doing a remodel, you're a remodeler or something like that, general contractor that specializes in remodeling, you can have a really good local content strategy, because you could talk every project could be is new things, right? And you can do articles about how you handled said project. If you have a local agency that's on top of you, or if you have a trusted photographer, you have do the photography. Or if you just want to do it yourself, throw a GoPro on your head and walk around and talk about your project. And then send all that content either to your video editor, or if you want to do it yourself, or your marketing agency, and they can watch all your videos and cut out pieces of that and turn that into a content marketing strategy, both on the page and then YouTube, or strip it out and create a podcast out of it if they so desire. So think about all that kind of stuff. That was a long rant. Heck the algo. Content plan always has a gap, and product solves more things than you think. Product. Jesus, can't even spit it out, Wilbur. Solves more problems than you think, and this is really about keyword variations. At the end of the day, if like web crawler, website crawler, SEO checker, etc. And Google may be looking for different things for each one of those terms. So you generally or naturally would create a new landing page for each one of those specific keywords. There's an example in this article if you want to get a little bit more into that. New websites appear and old keywords rise. Basically, you get competition coming in. You have keywords or trends change, etc. And you forgot you didn't do that because at one time it wasn't even important, and now it is important. So you want to essentially continue the keyword research process, and then that leads into you driving your content calendar over and over and over and over again. It's not I want to start this project, I'm going to do keyword research, and then I'm going to move on to this, and this. No, you're always doing keyword research, and that includes looking at the intent. Not in the intent of what SEMrush or all these other tools that have intent of thinking. Go to Google, look at the keyword and say, what is the intent for that keyword? And that is all part of your SEO content plan because it decides you can do a landing page, information page, or you're going to do a checkout page for commercial use. So check this out. This article out. I think you might find it pretty interesting. I didn't see exactly which tool they're using here, but my guess is you could probably use pretty much any. But I didn't see, it doesn't say which tool specifically that they're using. I know this is a Looker dashboard. This looks like a Looker based off of a BigQuery data set, but I don't know what this is. It doesn't indicate what tool that is, but it could be Site Checker. I'm not sure, but it's a good article nonetheless. Okay, good old John Mueller's at it again. This blanket statement, just like I said with this one. This is a blanket statement, and there's a grain of truth into it. This is a blanket statement, and it's a grain of truth to it. If your website sucks, you're not going to be able to put keyword or schema on it and then magically rank. You can rank without content and still and with just structured data. You can do it. And yes, structured data will indeed make your site rank better. It'll also make it perform better, which is what Ellie's argument is here inside her. This. I'm gonna assume that Ellie's. Let's look. I don't want to assume that I'll get hate mail. Hire Ellie. This dude. There we go. Ellie. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. Maybe it's Eli. Could be Eli. Anyway, his point is that structured data gives you access to rich snippets, and the rich snippets will increase your click-through rates. And if you're not doing proper structured data, you're not going to get those rich snippets. Ergo, rich snippets too, actually. And then the CTR will increase your rankings because you're getting clicked on the rich snippets, and then in theory, you will get more clicks in your rankings. In theory, I've never ever seen a test or done a test that says if I click rich snippets, I'm going to get, and I get feature snippets, for example, and everyone clicks on it, will I rank higher? That's something there, but that's not a rich snippet. What else would be a rich snippet? Like the images and the videos, etc. All of those rich snippet features are driven by schema for the most part. Mainly, really the good ones that you really want are driven by schema. And if every competition is using schema and you're not, you're actually hurting yourself. But schema will make your site rank better. You guys know I teach advanced schema. I know it works for rankings. If John Mueller wants to run around and tell people that structured data won't make your site rank better, and all the news article people want to tell everyone that structured data won't make your site better, I wouldn't be brokenhearted about it. Unless I actually started a white label structured data service or a white label schema writing service. And then I might be a little bit heartbroken because your revenues will go down. But for the most part, this Eli is actually 100% correct. Structured data will make your site rank better if you do it properly and if you account for the proper things. Yes, there is way more to structured data than just minimizing. I'm scrolling through fast here because you see he's highlighting rich snippets and the CTR. He's like me. He got blocked by John Mueller on different social medias before asking a question. I guess it happens, but whatever. But this is a good article by Eli just to hear someone else's perspective. If you don't want to take my word for it, read that.
Did you know a press release alone isn't enough? Visibility is key. You need a multi-platform strategy to share your story across news, audio, video, and social media. Welcome to Magic PR, where your press release transforms into a powerful media experience, maximizing exposure and engagement. We distribute your release to top outlets like Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, Business Insider, and more. Plus, your release is SEO optimized, ensuring better search rankings. But we don't stop there. We turn your press release into a podcast, distributing it across 25 platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Then we create a social media content for Facebook, X, and Instagram, and even transform your story into a video press release for YouTube and top media sites. Video drives over 80% of higher engagement, and short form content is king. We make viral videos for your YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and more. At Magic PR, we don't just publish, we amplify. Get your press release seen, heard, and shared everywhere. Visit magicpr.com today and take your brand to the next level. Back to you, Clint.
Air ops, the death of page views, new metrics for a post. The reason this is an interesting post, and I don't think it's the death of page views, quite frankly, because the page views is an indicator of traffic, and it's actually an indicator of user flow across your website. I don't think it's the death of it. I don't think AI is the death of page views. And his argument in this article, I'm going to assume it's his. Actually, I don't think the author's named here. Hold on. Yeah, there's no author named, so that's not a big deal. I mean, I don't list me as the author of my articles either. But anyway, so page views, word count, and published cadence are relics of error when human clicks are defined by SEO success. And essentially what they're saying is if your zero click searches and zero click platforms remove these as relevant for SEO metrics. Now, word count, there's just as many people in the word count camp as there are out. I am not necessarily in that. I think if you can write an article for 500 words that says the same thing, there's a 3,000 word article and you can rank it, then it's still just as good and it works. You can actually do that. Publishing cadence, how often are you publishing? There is an argument to be said that if you only publish randomly and out of the blue, your crawl rate's going to go down, and then it's going to be harder for you to do SEO. So publishing cadence, especially when there's an abundance, the publishing cadence is actually increasing because people have more access to video, AI, imaging, AI, etc., to create content. If you're not publishing a lot, you're going to get left out. And then page views, how do you know that stuff's not working? How do you know the user flow? How are you going to follow the user flow if you're not tracking page views? So this is one of those things like, oh, there's AI, let's end everything. These are all zero-click web platforms where you don't have to click to get the information out of there. But, if you do market on these, ultimately you're going to help your authority and your branding and your citations. And if you're listing, because AI is looking at all these platforms, and if you're listed as an authority in them, then you have the opportunity or the increased opportunity to show up into AI search. Excuse me, which is the fundamental statement of both of their other article or the other articles that I saw. So word count, again, I'm not really messing with. And then let's look at their metrics. Content metric number 1, quality of output. Who defines quality and how is the quality actually measurable? They don't actually get into how that becomes a metric. If you're trying to measure it, ergo, how am I going to measure my quality of my articles? And so I don't really think that's a metric. Response quality from AI tools. Again, how are you going to measure groundedness and relevance, clarence and cohesivity? You can see these. If you're into that and checking that stuff out and getting that detailed into your content, those are all okay metrics. But if you're a generalist SEO who's looking to rank a plumber, you don't need to know all that stuff. You really don't. It's not the application of those in regards to SEO and to ranking potentially AI tools has not been proven. So you could potentially just be wasting your sweet ass time messing with those things. It is interesting to know a little bit about how that stuff is formulated, etc. But there has been, to date, no testing whatsoever that says that any of those things affect SEO or AI SEO. Branded impressions. This is actually a metric I can get behind. If you're talking more on all those zero-click platforms and then you get more searches, more impressions for your brand, you're doing a good thing. That's a good metric to follow. Referral traffic, another good metric to follow. If you're doing all those zero-click searches and you're like, oh, and most of your views over there, et cetera, don't result in clicks. But guess what? The ones that come from those platforms, they're going to more likely convert higher than, say, the generalist informational searcher over on those platforms. See the connection here? You're doing AI overviews, informational generalist, and then finally seeking you out because they're exposed to you in your brand more in their research. That's why you do informational content in the hopes of being there when people are doing research. And the zero-click stuff is not necessarily a bad thing, in particular on a lot of platforms where zero-click is the lay of the land. So don't be scared by zero-click. Don't let all these clowns do you, but keep track of your AI or your page referrer. Or you can use his regex filters, etc. If you want to. There's a couple other tools out there that are tracking. I think I did a story to set that up, but these are good examples. I mean, why not try those out? Impressions in AI overviews. That's where that comes from. Actually, it's not. I lied. But really, right now, I don't know of a tool that allows you to track impressions in AI overviews. I know there are some people that are out there trying, but again, the citations inside of AI overviews is so broke right now that this is a dream metric. This would be awesome, but just not right now, I think. So check out the rest of this article if you want to. I wanted to give you my perspective in regards to the metrics that they were listening to you. OpenAI and Shopify are poised partnership with ChatGPT ads in chat shopping. I think this is like awesome for people that are using Shopify e-commerce stores. And the interconnection is actually really, really smart. And OpenAI's, in my opinion, on OpenAI, I think if it's going to be like an ads thing, that could be kind of a pain in the ass because you're going to start competing with that. But it is another channel. It is a growing channel in the future. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, but in the future. In the future, these platforms could be could have more space in the search market, right? Or more use in the search market. So it makes sense to me that adding this stuff in. You see the JSON that's added to get your stuff in there. This is actually inside of the public web bundle right now in the code. So you can see they're getting ready to fire this off. I think this will be something that we need to keep an eye on especially if you're doing SEO for Shopify clients like we are. We want to follow this story really, really closely and see how this is going to be done on a technical basis. Shopify might just handle it and turn it on, but we want to be able to influence pictures that are in there, product description, pricing, and all that stuff. So we're going to keep a close eye on that and see how that progresses. SEO pricing, how much does it cost? Like I said, this show isn't only for SEOs. This is for business owners, so you kind of understand what's going on here. I had an ex-client. They're in rehab, and they moved over to Neil Patel for one of their. The actual client he does marketing for other rehabs, and I was doing his primary lead generation website, and then he had some other clients that I was consulting on, and who switched one of them completely over to Neil Patel. They were charging, I think it was $19,000 a month for rehab. And this is a local rehab, like in a city kind of thing. This was a local business. And 19,000 is actually, I would argue, for rehab a little bit on the higher end, but is not unheard of in particular. So I say when you're looking at these ranges and stuff, figure out where you're at. There isn't a business on the planet that's going to get a return of investment of $500 in an SEO campaign unless you're like the only roofer in a city of 10 people. Then you can do your $500 campaign. But if you're in a city, even like Yuma, a small town, Sedona, a small town, Prescott Valley, a small area, $500, you're just getting taken for $500. It's just not happening. So if you're the average here, I think, what did he say? Yeah, 1,000 to 2,500 per month. That's where you should be looking at. If you hear anything less than $1,000 for an SEO campaign, you're getting canned, or you're getting, they're gonna sign up a whole bunch of people for high $500, not really do anything whatsoever beyond add some citations and say, hey, look, we did SEO for you, and publish some content on your website and call it a day. You can do that relatively cheaply, so $500 makes sense. It'll have zero effect in your campaign. And ultimately, what you really want is leads and sales, right? And you got zero chance of doing that because they're not doing anything to put you in front of the right people at the right time. Because they can't, because $500 is just not enough money to accomplish it, really much of anything worthwhile. So 1,000 to 2,500 is actually pretty fair especially for a local business, and that's probably where I would be on that. The exceptions to those would be big cities and then it would be big cities where there's a lot of competition out there, and tougher niches. So that's commensurate with your cost per click stuff. So if you're a personal injury attorney paying $1,500 or $150 for a click in Google ads, you're gonna pay on the higher end of SEO. You just have to actually compete with some of the people that have those bigger budgets. So, but this is a good article to read. I think honestly, it summarizes expected spending for not only large businesses, but small ones, and kind of just brings in the realization less than 500. Jesus, walk away. 500 to 1,000, I'd say walk away. And you want to be in this $1,000 to $5,000 range. I think that's pretty safe. If you can spend 50,000, that's awesome. Give me a call. But you really want to be in the 1,000 to 5,000 range for most places, for most businesses. And this is why. Your competition spending, they're still spending in search. This is ad revenue. This is, and you can see here it goes up and up and up and up. And these are people that are spending ads in search. And if your competition is spending in ads in search, it's because people are still using search, because an SEO and social media or search advertising is not going to go. It's increasing. Look how much it increased over a year. Display ads still going up. Video ads still going up, and then audio ads is actually going up a little slower, but this really podcast advertising, et cetera, like that, still kind of, narrow because there's so many podcasts, but not a whole bunch of them that are actually got a whole lot of base. And then the others, I don't even know what the others would be, but look at that the money's still there for people. And so I would definitely get into that more. You will see that the share of advertising is kind of shifting a little bit, but the money doesn't match the share. So it's kind of, display is cheaper. Let's see, display is going down. What's this? Video is going up, and that really makes sense too. Video is actually really high converting, and helps you create a relationship, etc. And the video platforms are actually making it easier to advertise on them. So that makes a whole lot of sense. But I mean, yeah, this number right here, you got to be on search. Yet another guide for comprehensive SEO and generative AI. Again, it's a good article, well researched. I don't necessarily know that it's 100% tested. However, there's a lot of thought-provoking things on here that you could do, and the number one is rank in the top 10. Now, there's of all the other AI articles, I have yet to hear anyone actually say that, and that's literally the truth. Rank high in the search engine, and do it a lot so that you're cited a lot because of your backlinks, etc. And then you're going to land in AI overviews, and that's why I shared this other articles, because honestly, they're the first people I've ever heard to be legit and say that. All right, it's tool time. And so, but I'm not going to show you particular tools that you might not necessarily know about in this instance. This Google and the 130-day rule. The white hat crowd has all been up in the panty bunch because of this article. You can see it came out April 9th. And essentially what this air quotes rule is that if your page has not been crawled in the last 130 days, Google Search Console, and I'm spinning this around really quick here, will show crawled, not indexed, currently not indexed. So it could have been indexed, but if it hasn't been crawled after 130 days, it switches to crawled, currently not indexed. And so the tool tip is you can actually go into search or Screaming Frog, turn these two settings on and run the crawl and see this. It is stupid easy to do. You connect Google, turn those two settings on, and then you'll get this, you'll sort it, and you'll get this. I would caution you to go, oh my God, all my URLs are not indexed, it's dropping out. Google Search Console is notoriously not in line with that index, is not in line with the index that is actually powering the search results. There's clear evidence those two are not mirror matches of each other. One has more information than the other and vice versa. And so they are not interlinked properly or exactly. So if you have a crap ton of URLs that are crawl but currently not indexed, just take heart to know that it might be just because Search Console's index sucks. So you want to verify those, or you can just do the lazy man route and drop those into a crawler to trigger crawls of those pages. If those pages were getting a lot of traffic and stuff, and then you saw some drops, this could be a good indicator of why that is. So you just go in there and update those, and there's your justification for why you're paying $5,000 a month, because you're going to go in and find all these pages that are, that were there, that may have been performing well for you and now are not, and they can go update them with new information, new dates, etc., and get them crawled and spin the cycle around. So if you're a publisher, definitely want to do this. I think I ran Digital Leader through it, and I found some pages that I thought, hey, those were indexed, and why are they not indexed now? It wasn't very many. I think it was like 3 or 4. But again, this is definitely something, a cool tool to leverage. If you got a small website, you can do this with Screaming Frog, the free version, by the way, too. So don't fret. You don't have to pay for it if you're a cheap ass. Next one is a authority case study, 5,000 organic traffic goof, from Matt Woodward. Yeah, that his name? Yeah, Woodward. And what I wanted to show you, the tool, is he's got a GBT that, there it is. Oh, where did I see it? I saw it. There you go. Quality rater tool. So essentially, you created a GPT that and pushed the 180 pages of the quality web guide. So you can drop that in there. So if you remember way back when, and I think I still have his prompt. Let's see. I have the Matt prompt in here, I think. There it is. Where, oh, that's Matt Cutts. That's not it. That's my super secrets. SEO prompt. Where the hell did it go? I'll have to find it. But Matt Diggity did a prompt where he essentially gave ChatGPT the quality rated guidelines and then gave him the content and said, review my content and find out what I'm missing in the quality rated guidelines. And it was actually successful for him. I shared it in my Discord. And it, again, it was pretty useful. So check out Woodward's free quality rater tool. I'll give you the link to this article so you can go find it. But check out the rest of the article too. It's not a bad article. Just, a little bit of understanding and some things that you could do to justify your existence as an SEO. Pretend like you know what you're doing. Joking. Image to SEO. Built an AI tool to decode Google Discover. There's 2 tools on this page. Now, this is based off of his presentation at Brighton SEO, but there are tools on this page. One is to analyze images. So essentially, you take a picture of your page and send this to them, and then see if it the detailed analysis can pick out the topic of it, and then you would get a discover score, and then there's a discover analysis tool as well. So here's the tool, the image to discover, and then the discover analysis tool. I would suggest that if you are into the Google Discover stuff and you are lucky enough that Google is putting you in there consistently, but you are noticing it drops, these are 2 tools that are definitely worth checking out, especially with Google adding Google Discover to homepage on desktop now. So I would get serious. I'm getting serious about Google Discover for my informational content, and so I suggest you do the same. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's 2 tools on this, 4 tools to check out this week. All right, question time. Best practices for local SEO. Really, I think I wanted this question because we're talking about all that other stuff, but should I prioritize link building at my website or my GPT when link building is the main crux of this question that I want to get to. If you are a local business, you can ignore one or the other. You just can't. You have to bring those up together at the same time, because if you lose one, you have the other to save your bacon while you figure out what's going on with the other one. So when you're link building, link to both your location page, if you use it, or your homepage, and your map at the same time. Always leverage that. If you did a press release, you can only do 2 links: homepage and the map. Homepage and the map. In local business, if I buy a guest post, I'm linking to what? Homepage and the map. Do not do a and or. Do not do a or. Should I only want to focus on the map? No. Focus on both of them. They're cohesive, symbiotic relationship. I'll give you all a bunch of other words to illustrate why you should do that. You should focus on both of them. There should never be a priority of one over the other. If there is, you have discombobulated, and you could potentially, you're like a lot of people that I know that focus entirely on the maps. They lose the maps, and guess what happens? Oh, I lost clients because my map ranking dropped. Google changed the map. Boo! But if they had accounted for that by also ranking in the organic and the search results, their pain would have been significantly less, and they wouldn't have lost their clients. So do not choose one over the other. You're always linking into both. You buy a guest post, press release, you buy a backlink out of somebody's PBN, you do some parasite SEO, whatever. Link to the homepage and the map. Homepage and the map. Unless you have a local page for that area, then yes, you want to link to the local page. Just heading off Dan Hill and his smart-ass questions coming from that. We love you, Dan. Keyword cannibalization. Both pages are important. This is a question of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'll read this out real quick. I landed a new SEO role, and I'm facing a dilemma. They have 2 pages fixed in branding templates that they need to follow. Now they have 2 pages that have the same intent. If you remember, where's that other one? SEO content plan. You can have 2 pages that have the same intent. In this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. Well, 4 pages all have the same intent, but they target different keywords. It's not keyword cannibalization necessarily. If you have keywords with the same target keyword, like if I do 2 articles on keyword cannibalization, guess what I have? Keyword cannibalization. But if I'm talking about keyword cannibalization in 2 different perspectives, in which the search results are showing me 2 different things, which I'd learned from my keyword research, then I can address it a little bit better without deleting pages or no indexing pages, etc. In this case, one of the pages is ranking well, and the other one they don't necessarily want, that they want to keep, but they don't want to rank, is not. So they're like, oh, should I delete it? Should I redirect it? Should I no index it? You should probably just leave it the fuck alone. That's what I would do. Leave it alone. Spammed with multiple bad reviews. If this happens to you, inevitably it will. You're never going to please everybody, and there's always going to be the Karen or the Chad or the Kenesha that is just going to blast your website or your reviews for no reason because they just had a bad day and they want to take it out on someone. It just happens. So use these systems that you have available to you. You report it. If you have some friends who have verified Google accounts, have them report it. But at the end of the day, respond to them. Respond professionally. If you're having a hard time, do it. Get ChatGPT. You can go in there and stress out the ChatGPT. And here's a review I got. Here's what I want to write. Can you recommend a better one? And vent inside of the ChatGPT and then have it write your nice one for you and then post that as your reply. Just reply and it'll be okay. You're not gonna, no, I will say that it's very unlikely that you're gonna always have 5-star reviews. I ask for reviews, like say when I did SEO this week or I do presentations, etc. Sometimes I'll say, hey, will you go leave a review on my map? And generally I have all 5-star reviews. It's nice to everyone to do that, but a real Digital is a real business. But for the case of this example, a real business that is out there dealing with real customers and real personalities and stuff is just going to get bad reviews. It's just going to happen. And I would argue that those bad reviews and how you respond to them is a better indication of the type of business you are than just, oh, he's got bad reviews, so I'm not going to work with him. I want to go see what, is the review just some trunk monkey clicking 1 star for no reason, or is it a legit, can you read it? And most people are smart enough to read it and go, yeah, that's bullshit. Well, let's just say most, a lot of people. We've all seen that not be the case on social media, but a educated customer that you would want to deal with would be able to read through the crap of negative spam reviews. So don't lose sleep over it. Do what I said. If it's really stressing you out, go cuss out. Copy the original review of the ChatGPT. Say, here's the original review. Here's a reply that I would want to do, and then just vent to ChatGPT and say, okay, now seeing the review, you see my reply. Write a better reply that so other people will think I'm a nice person and a professional, and it'll clean all that madness out for you. It's a good way to vet. It's a good way to use AI too. All right, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this show. It's a long one. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming. Hit like, thumbs up, thumbs down. Engagement is engagement. I think there's somebody that watches my show and every week hits thumbs down. It's kind of funny, actually. Hit subscribe, share with your friends, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a good week.